comes from a culture that lies. Why Sequoia Partners comment on Zohran Mamdani has blown up. Sean McGuire, a high-profile partner at Sequoia Capital and a prominent conservative voice in Silicon Valley, is facing sharp backlash for his recent comments on Zohran Mamdani, a New York City mayoral candidate and Democratic socialist. The controversy stems from a series of inflammatory posts McGuire made on X, formerly Twitter, accusing Mamdani of being an Islamist and alleging that he comes from a culture that lies about everything. The remarks, which many saw as Islamophobic and racially charged, have sparked outrage within the startup and tech ecosystem. An online petition demanding that Sequoia Capital take disciplinary action against McGuire and provide clear mechanisms to report discrimination and hate speech gathered over 900 signatures, many from founders and executives across the Middle East and South Asia. At the same time, McGuire has received vocal support from other corners of Silicon Valley, indicating the polarist ideological climate gripping the tech industry. And the current controversy began when McGuire responded to a New York Times report stating that Mamdani had marked himself as both Asian and Black or African American on a Columbia University application in 2009. In response, McGuire wrote on X, "He comes from a culture that lies about everything. It's literally a virtue to lie if it advances his Islamist agenda." He also described Mamdani, who is a Muslim and democratic socialist, as an Islamist. The use of this term was perceived by many as inflammatory and misapplied. Mamdani comes from a culture that lies about everything. It's literally a virtue to lie if it advances his Islamist agenda. The West will learn this lesson the hard way. Pic.twitter.com 8mat85 Sean McGuire July 4, 2025 Zohran Mamdani, a member of the New York State Assembly since 2021, is the son of Indian filmmaker Myra Nair. He identifies as both South Asian and African and is known for his advocacy on housing, immigration, and social justice issues. And many saw McGuire's comments as not only Islamophobic but also racially charged. Founders and executives from Muslim-majority regions, particularly in the Gulf, as well as Indian tech entrepreneurs, expressed concerns over bias and discrimination from one of Silicon Valley's most influential venture capitalists. An online petition quickly gathered over 900 signatures, calling on Sequoia Capital to investigate McGuire's conduct, issue a public apology, and establish processes for reporting hate speech and discrimination. Tabby CEO Hossam Arab, whose company was once backed by Sequoia Capital India, said it's not about Mamdani either. It's about whether Sequoia is willing to finally take a clear stance or accept alienating hundreds of founders who find these views offensive. On the other hand, McGuire's supporters, including venture capital executives and founders, argued that his comments reflected his personal political stance and should not be grounds for corporate sanction. A separate petition supporting McGuire also began to make the rounds in VC circles. And McGuire released a 30-minute video on X to explain his thought process and offer a conditional apology. This tweet went extremely viral and not in a good way, he said. "I guess cancel culture is alive and well. Dear Internet, this is why I called Zohran Mamdani an Islamistan. As a reminder, Islamism is a political ideology like communism. It's not a race or religion, and only a small fraction of Muslims are Islamists." https://t5fbn8lqqopic.twitter.com J. Sean McGuire July 6, 2025. He added, "To any Muslim that is not an Islamist and to any Indian that took offense with this tweet, I'm very, very sorry." Despite this, he continued to post defiant messages, including "You only embolden me." To the haters and losers, you cannot imagine how much love and support I've received over the last 48 hours. We have cancelled cancel culture. Your hate and ignorance only fuels me. Sean McGuire July 8, 2025. McGuire also defended his usage of the word Islamist, stating it was intended to describe only a specific political ideology, not the broader Muslim community. However, critics argue that the context and sweeping nature of his comments cannot be easily separated. Nan McGuire is a venture capitalist, technologist, and former national security researcher who has become one of the most prominent conservative voices in Silicon Valley. He's a partner at Sequoia Capital, where he's led investments in high-profile ventures such as SpaceX, XAI, and The Boring Company, all part of Tesla CEO Elon Musk's empire. While at Caltech, he was recruited to work at DARPA, the U.S. government's Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, a body that funds cutting-edge military and defense technology. He went on to co-found the cybersecurity firm Codium, later renamed Expanse, which was acquired by Palo Alto Networks for around $800 million to $1 billion. Macquarie joined Google Ventures in 2016 and later Sequoia in 2019, where he built a reputation for sourcing deals linked to Elon Musk and other high-growth founders. He is also known for championing right-wing causes, both financially and ideologically, including donating nearly $800,000 to Republican causes in 2023. On X, he has over 245,000 followers and posts frequently on politics, technology, and defense. Nanan Macquarie has a history of political provocation. He supported the 6 January Capitol Hill protesters, criticized diversity and inclusion initiatives, and publicly endorsed conspiracy theories, including voter fraud claims. He told Fortune that his public stances have cost him friends and family relationships. "I was at a point in my life where I was willing to face any consequences, as crazy as it sounds, even death," he said on the Uncapped podcast. Macquarie has also argued that he was overlooked for promotions because he is a white man, and he frequently posts against progressive causes and left-leaning policies. Nanan swipe left for next video. The controversy surrounding Macquarie's comments is not limited to online outrage, it is being closely watched by the global startup ecosystem. Sequoia Capital, which has a significant presence in markets such as India and the Middle East, faces growing scrutiny from founders and investors about whether personal views expressed by its partners reflect broader institutional positions. While Sequoia has declined to comment publicly, the response from the global founder community indicates that the issue is unlikely to fade quickly. How the firm handles it could shape perceptions of its inclusivity and neutrality going forward. Latest blogs.